Evening, everybody. Can you just make sure you've swiped yourselves into your microphones, please? If you have any problems, just wave panically at, I don't know, at Andrew probably, or maybe Debbie. Debbie's heading down to you, Marianne. Oh. I think, is it Councillor Levine? Oh, yes. Yehudi needs help, please.
You'll have to press it.
I'm not sure what's going on down there, but hopefully you can sort it. I have faith. Yehudi, somebody's coming. Somebody's coming, Yehudi. It may not look like it, but they are actually beavering away up here. Yeah. Right, we'll try to start in 2 minutes, I think, as long as everybody is swiped into their microphone.
I think so.
We can begin. Top table, have we all swiped into our microphones? Can we have this man? Can we have this man? Oh, not sit there looking decorous. Fine.
Marion in a minute. All right.
How are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Are we nearly there?
We're ready to go.
Fantastic. Andrew, can you please tell us when we're live? We are ready to go. Thank you very much, everybody, and welcome to Blackdown House on this glorious evening of the 15th of October 2025, where we are still waiting for certain people to simmer down. Settle down, settle down. Thank you very much. Right, well, welcome everybody, and welcome to everybody watching this meeting online on our YouTube channel. I am your chair, Councillor Eleanor Rylance, and I would like to welcome you all. Thank you for making your way here. Right, health and safety. In the event of a fire alarm, I know I said this last time, I mean it this time. In the event of a fire alarm sounding, please leave the building through the nearest fire exit, and by following the green running man signs above the doors, make your way to the rear of the car park. If anybody needs assistance leaving the building in the event of an emergency evacuation, please let me or anybody at the top table know. The organisers of the meeting will tell you when it is safe to return. With the exception of the confidential items at the end of the agenda, the meeting can be viewed live online on the Council's YouTube page and is being recorded and will be available on YouTube at the end of this meeting and forevermore. The agenda and papers have been published on the Council's website in advance of the meeting. Could I please request that everybody who is referring to an item in the agenda pack also refer to page number and paragraph number to help everybody else locate themselves. Please only speak at the chair's invitation, and please switch your microphone on when you're invited to speak and speak directly into the microphone, and then switch it off again when you have finished speaking. Turn any mobile devices to silent right now, or off, please. I don't want to hear anybody's mobile ringing during the meeting. If you've not already done so, please ensure that you have logged into your microphone using the card with your name on it, and if you have any problems, please let us know. Please, would you ensure that you stop speaking if you're asked to do so by the chair? Thank you very much. Right, we will now start this meeting by doing a roll call, and declarations rolled into one, as ever, because otherwise the camera has trouble locating us if we're making very short responses. So that will cover off both items 1 and 2 in the agenda pack. So I'm going to ask one of the Democratic Services, Andrew, to read out your name, and please can you say whether you have any declarations of interest to make about any items on the agenda. Will you please state which declaration it is and which item it refers to. If you have any, if you need any advice on any declarations, please refer to Melanie, and if you become aware sometime during the meeting that you should have made a declaration, please don't be shy. It's better to make it than not. Please come forward at any time in the meeting. Thank you. Right, over to you, please, Andrew. We have a case of microphone not working. Is that okay? Okay.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good evening, councillors. So I'll start the roll call and any requests for declarations of interest, please. Starting with Councillor Arnott.
Present and no declarations, thank you.
Councillor Aurora Bailey.
Present, no declarations, thank you.
Councillor Brian Bailey.
Present, Andrew, no declarations, thank you.
Councillor Jess Bailey. Councillor Barlow.
Present and no declarations that I'm aware of.
Councillor Blakey.
Present and no declarations.
Councillor Bloxham.
Present and no declarations.
Councillor Bonetta.
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Colin Brown.
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Jenny Brown.
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Bruce.
Present and no declarations.
Councillor Burrup. Councillor Chapman. Councillor Chubb.
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Roy Collins.
Present, no declaration.
Councillor Davey.
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Dumper.
Present and no declarations.
Councillor Faithful.
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Fernley.
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Fitzgerald.
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Gazzard.
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Goodman.
Present and no declaration of interest.
Councillor Haggerty.
Present and no declarations.
Councillor Anne Hall.
Present, no declarations, thank you.
Councillor Matt Hall.
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Hawkins.
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Hayward.
Councillor Hayward and Councillor Jackson are stuck in traffic.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Heath.
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Hookway.
Present, agenda item 24, affects NRI, member of Exmouth Town Council, member of Devon County Council.
Thank you. Councillor Hughes.
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Ingham.
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Jeffreys.
Present, no declarations, thank you.
Councillor Johns.
Present, no declarations, thank you.
Councillor Young.
Present, no declarations.
Councillor King,
Present, no declaration.
Councillor Ledger,
Does somebody still have their microphone on? There'll be somebody in the room.
Councillor Ledger sends his apologies.
Councillor Levine,
Present, no declarations, thank you.
Councillor Loudon,
Present and no declarations. Thank you, Andrew.
Councillor Mackinder,
Present, no declarations.
Councillor McCullum,
Are you logged in, Councillor McCullum?
just to confirm. Sorry, just to confirm, Councillor McCullum is present and no declarations of interest. Councillor O'Leary,
Present and no declarations.
Councillor Olive,
Present and no declarations, thank you.
Councillor Parr,
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Richards, Councillor Riddell, Councillor Rickson,
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Rylance,
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Westerman,
Present, no declarations.
Councillor Ragg.
Present, no declarations.
Thank you, Chair. That completes the roll call and declarations of interest this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Right, apologies, please. We have
Yes.
some apologies in.
Apologies for absence this evening from Councillors Chamberlain, Bethany Collins, Marcus Hartnell, Mike Howe, Dan Ledger, Melanie Martin, Cherry Nicholas, Simon Smith, Joe Wibley and Dan Wilson.
And also belatedly, because they're stuck in traffic, Councillors Haywood and Jackson. Okay, thank you. All right. Does anybody else know of any more apologies? No, I can't see any in the room. Thank you. Okay, moving on to agenda item 3, which is minutes of the previous meeting on the 16th of July 2025. It seems like an awfully long time ago, and it was an awfully long meeting. So are there any amendments or comments or questions, or can we pass these minutes as a true record of what happened on that evening? Okay, I see no hands going up. I'm going to presume that Councillor Loudon is not. No, he's not. Right, I'm going to keep going despite this interruption here. Right, so I can't see any people wanting to make any comments or bring any amendments to those minutes, so I'm going to presume that we're happy to vote on them. If you're happy that they are true record of the 16th of July meeting, would you please raise your hand now? If you would like to vote against them, please raise your hand now. And if you'd like to abstain, please raise your hand now. So that's largely carried with one abstention. Thank you very much, everybody. Right, next up, we have public speaking. I understand there is one not member of the public registered to speak, and that is Councillor Roy Collins. Councillor Collins, you will have 3 minutes like every other member of the public, and please make your way to the lectern. You'll see on the screen there's a counter telling you how much time you have left. When you're ready, if you just press the microphone. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm very concerned about climate change and the effect it's having on national security with food production. We've had a lot of extreme weather the last weekend. We've had very bad flooding in Mexico, Spain, where crops have been washed. Holidays have been ruined for people there. In India, the Bhutan region has had exceptional rains. The monsoons normally stop in September, but they've carried on from June onwards. And Tibet, their tea plantations have washed away, lots of buildings destroyed, lots of people killed. There's been exceptional bad landslides there. In the Philippines, they've had bad typhoons in the beginning of September. 30th of September, they've had a major earthquake. Last Friday, they had another earthquake measuring 7.6. And that was on the 10th of October. There have been lots of tremors since. It's destroying much of their food production areas. They've had a tsunami, which has meant 3-meter high waves, destroying houses. The war in Ukraine, food production has fallen to 50% or less. Palestine-Israeli conflict has led to most of the food growing land being contaminated. The state of state of Victoria in Australia, they have plans for solar panels, compulsory purchase of farmers' lands. I believe there's 11 of these areas, and there's hoped to be enough electricity from these solar farms to power Melbourne and all the surrounding areas, the whole state. So obviously the farmers aren't at all happy there. A lot of land taken out of production.
Councillor Collins, I'm afraid to tell you that you're getting very, very close to the end. You had 1 second left, so can you please bring your remarks to a close?
Well, you just interrupted me. You haven't let me finish.
Will you still get the same 3 minutes as every other member of the public in this section?
Yeah,
I'm
but you've
afraid?
you could have let
Just
me
keep
finish.
going. Keep going and bring your remarks to a
Not
close,
letting
though,
me
please.
finish.
Please bring your remarks to a close, a natural close.
Forests are covering about 31% of the earth. The Amazon produces 20% of the world's oxygen. Forests absorb carbon dioxide and help the climate change. East Devon Council needs to do its bit and stop taking all this agricultural land for housing. We can easily treble the number of houses and then save some of our agricultural land. This council's done nothing to support farmers and keeping their land here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Collins. We got there in the end. Thank you very much. I'm sure many of us here will share your concerns about the state of the planet and climate change. And thank you for that intervention. Agenda item 5, matters of urgency. There are no matters of urgency to be tackled on this agenda. Agenda item 6, announcements from the chair and from the leader. Now, I have a few announcements. I have 2 sad announcements and 2 good announcements. So I'm going to start with the sad ones. As we know, we are now 59 because we lost our colleague, Councillor Toy, a few weeks ago. Now, Councillor Toy, it was his second, and some people may not realise it was actually his second go at being a district councillor, because he was also a district councillor in 2003 to 2007. So he served on the Economic Overview Committee, as it was known at the time, in those years. And then was then on Scrutiny Committee for 2005 to 2006, and then on the Employment Appeals Committee for 2006 to 2007. So he had a pretty active first term, I think you'll agree. He was then re-elected in 2023 for Exmouth-Halsden ward and became a member of the Democratic Alliance Group. He served on Scrutiny and Leisure Delivery Forum, and I think you'll agree with me that he was never knowingly underbriefed, Andrew. He had always read the documents. And although he didn't intervene very often in full council, when he did, it was always meaningful. So I'm sure some among us will miss him very, very deeply because they were friends, and others will just miss, his contributions in meetings because they knew him less well. But we sent our condolences to his parents, who you know, it's not natural for a child to predecease their parents, and it was a very, very sad time for their family. So I'm sure I know that I received many messages from some of you saying how sad you were that he was gone, and I transmitted those to his family in the letter that I sent. Also, we have also lost another former councillor, Councillor Graham Troman, who represented the Sidmouth-Sidford ward for 8 years on this council. Now, I had not heard of Councillor Troman before, and I'm very glad that Councillor Hughes brought his sad demise to our attention so that I could also include him in these announcements this evening. So thank you for telling us. We did not know that he had gone. So I propose that we now hold a minute's silence in memory of those two councillors, those of us who knew Councillor Troman. And we will now hold a minute. So thank you, Councillor Ingham, being very proper. In memory of Councillor Troman and Councillor Toy, thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Right, I promised you 2 pieces of better news. Now, the first piece of news I have to impart is that we have a new Assistant Director for Comms, Culture and Marketing, better get the role right, and her name is Chloe Woodman, and she started at this council Monday last week, so she's now been in post for a bit over a week, and we welcome her, I think, oh, hang on, oh, you are here, fantastic, welcome Chloe. Chloe, would you like to stand up and show the people who you are? This is Chloe, okay. Welcome Chloe. And thank you for joining our crazy crew, thank you. So the other piece of good news that I have to impart is that 2 communities in our district won quite a lot of awards at the RHS in Bloom awards recently. I don't know, I'm trying to work out which order to do this in so that no preferential treatment can be perceived. So I'm very happy to say that actually our biggest town won an award and one of our smallest villages won an award. And I think that's just as it should be because it shows the range of what can be done within communities across the district. So I'm going to start with our smallest community, which is in Councillor King's ward, and that is Poltimore. Now, Poltimore, if you've never been to Poltimore, I really recommend that you do because it is absolutely beautiful. And since COVID, the village folk of Poltimore have been doing absolutely amazing things with the planting and all the bits of open land and green space. They have put flowers absolutely everywhere. If you drive through the centre of Poltimore, there is the slice of a tree that was blown down in a storm, which is huge and is absolutely fascinating for anybody, but particularly children. There is, obviously, we know the tragic fate of Poltimore House a couple of years ago. What you may not know is that there is a cafe, a voluntary, run by volunteers operating from the grounds there, which is trying to rebuild, contribute to raising funds to rebuild Poltimore House. And so Branches Cafe was name checked in the awards. Poltimore was actually put forward with quite a few awards, and it got gold and commendations in quite a few of them. But particularly didn't know. Did it get that one? So I'm mixing myself up now because I couldn't get a screenshot of the newsletters as they came in because of our IT system. Okay, so the cafe branches and a farm shop in the centre of the village, which is also a very good farm shop, but I probably won't name check because it's a business, won awards, and the village as a whole won several gold awards and a trophy. So I think we'll send huge thanks to Poltimore residents for making their village look so beautiful, and onwards and upwards, maybe next year as well. Okay, so the other winner, multiple winner of multiple awards, was Exmouth, which won gold in an award called Champion of Champions. Great. I think Councillor Hall, one of the Councillor Halls might have more information on this. It also won Best Coastal Town in the Southwest, which is an area covering from Dorset, I think, all the way to Cornwall. Yes, I'm getting the thumbs up from Councillor Hall, that's right. Also, Best Community Initiative for the Yarn Bombers of Exmouth. And I don't know whether you've ever seen any of the postbox toppers in Exmouth, but they are phenomenal. Always themed, always seasonal, great work to all the knitters and crocheters, probably. Better not get my yarn arts discriminated against, who are producing these toppers and really cheering people up every day. And I don't know what your view is on yarn bombing, but I think it looks lovely personally, and it shows so much initiative, skill, and it's essentially engineering with yarn. So well done to Exmouth, and well done to Poltimore for winning those awards, and onwards and upwards. Have I forgotten anything? Oh, Sidmouth also got a mention. I think Councillor Barlow might have been about to say that.
Yes, Chair. More than I mentioned, several cups and a Lifetime Achievement Award for 2 people. There.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're in the National Champions of Champions this year, but that isn't judged till slightly later.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I didn't know that information, so thank you. Does anybody else's community receive any awards in this award ceremony? No? Well, thank you, but well done to everybody who's involved, and I know it's probably all volunteers as well, mostly. So absolutely wonderful work. Thank you, everybody. Right, okay, moving back to Leader, do you have anything you wish to speak on? No, I think Leader's a bit under the weather.
Well, no, I just thought we'd like to move on to the meeting.
We absolutely would, absolutely would. Right, well, so much news. Okay, right. Moving on swiftly back to my script, which would be good, wouldn't it? Right, okay, confidential and exempt items. As you're all aware, we have 3 items that are to be considered in Part B after exclusion of the press and public and the termination of the live feed. This is generally because there are commercially sensitive items within, and I would remind you that anything that happens in Part B stays in Part B, thank you, until it can be released into the public domain. Right, moving on swiftly to answer questions. Agenda item 8. There were 4 questions in your agenda pack, I believe. They've all received written responses. Does any of the 2 questioners have any follow-ups? Councillor Hughes, do you have a follow-up? Okay. Councillor Goodman, do you have any follow-up to any of yours?
Yes, question 3. Question 2, thank
Question
you very
3,
much.
which was the one on, please forgive me. Right.
Yep.
The question for the portfolio holder for council coordination and external engagement, which is
That's
John
right.
Loudon.
Well, thank you very much for the comprehensive reply, which obviously I was aware of because there's a lot of that details in the press. But in October, the leader of our council said that through research and community engagement, it was clear that a single unitary authority replacing the 8 district councils and Devon County was the most logical option. He went on to say the council had been handed a lemon by the government and was attempting to make democratic lemonade. Does the leader agree with me that now this lemonade is very cloudy?
Councillor Loudon. Councillor Goodman, could you thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Goodman, for your response. The leader of this council has not said that. It may be somebody who is a councillor in another council.
I'm sorry, but that is a direct quote from him off the favourite Devon Eye one that Devon Eye that I took this afternoon and saw in other press as well.
Councillor Loudon.
then in which case, if you wish to send it to me, I'm happy to look at it and give you a further response.
Right, I think, Councillor Goodman, you have indeed had your second question. Have you
So-
got any other questions
Yes,
on the back of any of your other questions?
On the fourth question, which was about how much savings there would be by going to 1, 2 or 3 unitary. So thank you for the answer. I did in fact raise this at full council on the 9th of January and was told that no one had calculated this figures yet. And they confirmed the calculation will be done in the future, but the financial benefits. But now we're going to be going, or on the 26th, we are going to look at different options. Can you please tell me why we haven't done these figures of knowing what the financial benefit is by going to 1 unitary, 2 unitary, or 3 unitaries, and will those figures be ready before this council votes on it later in November?
Councillor Loudon, yeah, we were just in a session about that, weren't we?
It may be, Councillor Goodman, that your question was written before you were in the briefing just now. Well, I suspect it was. The situation back in January was that it was only on the 16th of December that we all received the white paper, and we were invited, councils in Devon were invited to give their initial response. That's what this council did at the very beginning of the year. It would, if somebody had come to you at that point with a set of financial data relating to a range of options, I think you would have probably been a bit suspicious, shall we say, at that point. What you will receive once the submission that will be coming before this council has been composed, it's still, as you heard earlier on, going through in its draft stage, then there will be financial information in there, which I hope will be sufficient to allow you to make an informed decision on the 26th of November.
Can I please
Thank
answer?
you. No,
Can
you-
we please ask the information that if you go to 1, how much is the saving, 2, what the saving in 3, what the actual saving and financial benefit.
Councillor Goodman, we were just literally in a session about this.
No, we've not discussed that. Sorry, that did not get discussed.
Chair, if it's helpful, I've given my answer.
I think we're going to move on from that now. Councillor Goodman, you have had your attempt at a second answer, and you've had your second answer to that question. Right, now moving on swiftly, because I do not want to be here until 10 p.m, even if the state of the roads is terrible. Right, we have got 27 sets of minutes to note. As always, the recommendations have been pulled out into a separate agenda item. Gentlemen, please, would you please stop? If you wish to talk to each other, would you please either leave the room or whisper? Please don't try to talk over me. Right, 27 sets of minutes to cover the period since the 16th of July. All the recommendations are, as ever, in a separate agenda item. So if you have any questions about these minutes, would you please raise your hand and ask them now? Because otherwise we will move to note them. Councillor Collins, please.
Uh, 13. This council once again has let farmers down.
Councillor Collins, which of the sets of minutes are you referring to?
We're on agenda 9 at the minute.
Oh, sorry.
Just at the minute.
What did I say?
Oh,
13.
Councillor Collins, if you're further down the agenda, we're not there yet.
Sorry.
We're in item 9 at the moment.
Sorry, Chair.
That's okay. You can come back later. Right, so we have 27 sets of minutes still to note or to ask questions about. Has anybody got any questions about any of these minutes, or are you happy to vote on them, to note them? Okay, if you're happy to note these, would you please raise your hand now? If you wish to vote against that, would you please raise your hand now? And if you would like to abstain, please raise your hand now. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much, everybody. Moving on to agenda item 10, which, yes, Councillor Ingham.
Chair, can you ask everyone if they've got an item to raise on any of these, to raise it now and then do the rest en bloc?
We're doing all the minutes which don't have recommendations on already. Then we're doing them en bloc. We've just done them en bloc. As I said twice, we have 27 sets of minutes to note. And then the ones where there are recommendations on are in a separate agenda item. It's a slightly different way that we've been operating for the last year or so. Right, now, so all of these minutes have no recommendations in them because all the ones with recommendations have been pulled out and put into a separate agenda item. So you will get the chance to ask questions, obviously, about the ones with recommendations. And also, well, we've just voted on them, actually. So too late to ask any more questions about these ones. So that was unanimous. Thank you very much. Right, next up we have the agenda item 10, which in your agenda pack is page 188 to 191. It is the annual report from the Standards Committee. As Chair of Standards Committee, I put this one forwards, but Melanie is also here as a monitoring officer to answer any more technical questions or about process. So if you have any questions about any of these, about this report, would you please ask them now? In the absence of any questions, I think we're happy to vote on this report and move on. Right, if you're happy to accept this report, the recommendation being to note the annual report, would you please raise your hand now? If you want to vote against it, would you please raise your hand now? And if you want to abstain, raise your hand now. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much, everybody. Right, agenda item 11, committee arrangements. I think for this one, we are passing over to Councillor Loudon, aren't we? Yes. Oh, no, maybe not. Oh, to Andrew. Sorry, to Andrew. Take that out of my script. Yeah, well, that's why I was sounding slightly confused. Andrew, this one is for you. So does anybody have any questions of a technical nature that Andrew, who has been present at the entire process, might be able to answer? I don't think there are any questions forthcoming. Does anybody want to debate this document? Okay, Councillor Loudon.
Proposed, Chair.
Fantastic. Is anybody willing to second it? Oh, Councillor Bruce, I saw you first. Right, okay. With that in mind, would anybody like to vote in favour of this? If you would, please raise your hand now. If you'd like to vote against it, raise your hand now. And if you'd like to abstain, raise your hand now. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much, everybody. Right, agenda item 12, recommendation from Cabinet on the local development scheme. Right, I'm to invite, well, you can see in front of you that the council is, the recommendation is that the council adopts the LDS work programme for planning policy production for the East Devon District Council. I'm going to ask Councillor Olive to present the report and propose the recommendation. I just read you what the recommendation was, and Councillor Olive is now laughing at me. It's the teacher. I'm sorry, it's the teacher in me. I just don't like the thought of anybody not knowing what's going on. Councillor Olive, would you like to present your report, please?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, very happy to. I believe this is the possibly the third or fourth glorified Gantt chart that I presented to the council as the local development scheme over the course of the year. It is largely, as folks have seen before, with the details of the update contained in the papers that sit behind this agenda item. Broadly, it says we will be going to Regulation 19B consultation in the next 6 to 8 weeks with submission of the plan to the Planning Inspectorate in spring next year. Happy to take any questions, Chair, but otherwise I will propose the recommendations for you.
I don't think I can be alone in thanking Councillor Olive and all the officers involved and all the other members involved in the Strategic Planning Committee for the alacrity with which they have processed this plan, because it has the strictures imposed on us by Westminster have meant that we've had to proceed at a pace which has, I think, at some times been uncomfortable. So does anybody have any questions for Councillor Olive or Councillor Bruce? Do you have a question?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to confirm that Councillor Olive has received the email from the Fennerton Parish Council and that I can confirm to them that he's going to reply. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Olive?
Not that it has anything to do with the item in front of us, but yes, I have received that email, and yes, they will get a response, Councillor Bruce. The email that I had was one on a subject that Fennerton had a response to on a number of occasions before, I believe, but I will provide a repeat of the answers to the questions again for completeness, yes.
Thank you, Councillor Olive. Questions? Any more questions for Councillor Olive? Councillor Olive, did you propose your recommendation? You did, okay. Is anybody willing to second Councillor? Oh, Councillor Levine, I think, is I saw first. Right. So does anybody wish to debate this, or are we happy to move to a vote? I don't see any hands up. Right. Okay, if you are happy to accept the recommendation in this document as proposed and seconded, would you please raise your hand now? If you would like to vote against it, would you please raise your hand now? And if you'd like to abstain, would you please raise your hand now? Okay, that is largely carried. Yeah, largely carried. Thank you very much, everybody. Right, where did we get to? Right, agenda item 13, recommendations from the Scrutiny Committee, changes to agricultural property relief and business property relief, which is in your agenda packet, pages 218 to 223. Now, Councillor Goodman, you have produced two recommendations, which are in the agenda, in the top paper, and they are that the issue is best addressed at national level, taking a lead from the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs Select Committee report, and that the Council agrees that there is continued support for the farming community in the district by pushing for improved consultation, the undertaking of a full impact assessment, and consideration being given to both delaying the implementation of the reforms and to alternative proposals. So, Councillor Goodman, would you like to add anything more to your report?
No, I think that sums up extremely well. Thank you.
So, okay. It is reassuring, I think. It should be reassuring that in Westminster people are examining the issue. And it is good that you have faith in that process enough. And I take your point about it being the best, potentially the best venue. Councillor Collins, you have your hand up. It is up to you. Oh, Councillor Goodman, could you please switch off your microphone? Thank you. Councillor Collins. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Once again, East Devon Council have let farmers down. I was at the meeting on the 30th of January, and there were about 20 tractors with farmers outside protesting, and a small number, I think it was round about 5 or 6 farmers, came into this room, and the chairman kindly let them speak. And there was a jolly good debate. On the 4th of December, I tried to speak at this meeting and you said I had to wait until the committee discussed it. Well, on the 30th of January, I was speaking and I was cut short. The microphone was turned off, the video was turned off, and they wasted a lot of time because they didn't know how to start the video again. No, I'm very disappointed with the outcome. Many councils up and down the country have sent in their observations to the government. Wye Forest, I was talking to a senior councillor from Wye Forest last Saturday, and she said that they'd sent theirs in and it was very good. But the government is not listening. They've taken no notice of the committee that you refer to here. No notice has been taken. Steve Reid was a dreadful minister, and so was his colleague. And I can't see much happening for the future. They've made no concessions whatsoever to the farmers. That they've stopped the ELM scheme and many other schemes. New applicants can't get on them anymore. So what will happen is many farmers now will go back to conventional farming. They'll use artificial sprays, artificial fertilizers and sprays and things. Unless there happens to be a change at the end of November, myself, I spent Monday afternoon with a solicitor talking about my circumstances and my farm. And the solicitor's advice was for me to sell up and get out while the going is still reasonably good. That was his advice. Where is the food coming from to feed the nation? That's what I'd like to know. It won't be coming from imports, because you heard my speech earlier. All the catastrophes what's happening in the world. That we won't be able to import food from abroad. People will be starving. Mark my word. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Collins, and thank you for making that I know it's a painful issue for you, and I'm sure that your views are probably shared by other farmers within the district. So I very much hope that our scrutiny committee will keep the select committee's feet to the fire on this. And I suspect that as a fairly rural area that we're very well placed to do that. So I can't expect that Councillor Goodman will take his foot off the pedal on this. And I expect that he will be watching what is coming out of that select committee. And I do believe that there is a place for witnesses to be brought into select committees, isn't there? And so maybe there may be a chance for you to feed this back to Westminster, Councillor Collins. But thank you for that intervention. Councillor Goodman, did you propose your recommendations formally?
No, but could I, please? Could I propose the...
Absolutely.
the two recommendations?
Councillor Goodman proposes his recommendations. Councillor Barlow, you can second them.
Happy to second.
Thank you. Right, okay. Does anybody else wish to contribute to the debate or ask any questions? Or Councillor Heath, please.
Just a very quick point, actually, in support of actually Roy Collins. I've just come back from Cyprus where they've had no rain since April and they're in desperate situations. So it kind of bears out that this is a global situation that's very serious. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Heath. I think, yeah, we have big challenges coming our way, and not just as a district council, for certain. Right. Do you feel... Oh, Councillor Arnott, please.
No, thank you, Chair. I hope this isn't a red herring. I vaguely, just picking up Councillor Collins' point, did we not as a council write to government about this some months ago? I just remember if there's any collective memory amongst the officers, but I forgive them if they don't.
I believe that it was a proposal, I think possibly before we were overtaken by local government reorganisation events.
Was it yeah, I genuinely can't remember.
That may have fallen by the wayside. That could be something that should be picked up again.
Yeah, thank you.
Andy, do you know?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So a letter did go, I think, to the Secretary of State and the Chancellor, given the interplay between the two government departments. As far as I'm aware, no response has been received.
Maybe there's a case for sending a second one, asking them whether they intend to respond. Yes, Leader.
So although I do always appreciate Councillor Collins' point, it just isn't true that East Devon has done nothing to campaign on this subject. Thank you.
We will chase up a response, though, Councillor Collins. Councillor Johns, please.
Can we as a council not send a follow-up letter to reiterate Councillor Collins' points and how concerned we are that we're being enforced to build housing on agricultural land when the world itself hasn't got enough agricultural land to do the food that we need?
That's exactly what we just said, Councillor Johns. We just said we would chase up the response, so that will involve sending a second letter. Right. Sorry, Councillor Johns, yes.
Sorry, I didn't ask you to chase up the previous letter. I asked if we could send a follow-up letter. That's a different thing altogether, chasing up Councillor Collins' points that he's made this evening.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Olive, you have your hand up.
I appreciate Councillor John's sentiment, but respectfully to Councillor Collins, as I've made the point at SPC and the issue's been raised now, I'll make the point again here. Less of our land actually has a building on it than is used for golf courses in this country. It is not as simple as saying that it's houses versus agricultural land. I'm not saying there's no point to be made. I'm saying that just sending a letter on the basis of a one-sided point made by a single council without a discussion is maybe not a good step to take, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Olive. Right. Councillor Faithful, please.
Thank you, Chair. Following on from Councillor Olive's comment, I'd like to point out that we are protecting our worst agricultural land because it's pretty, and we are building on our prime agricultural land and losing it. That is where the best crops are coming from. And the West Clist area was grade 1 agricultural land, and most of that has now gone for housing because West Clist has built across it. We are losing our best land and preserving our worst. Thank you, Chair.
I think the results of the HELAR scrutiny, the HELAR process are available, so we can ascertain what each plot of land was graded at. Councillor Fernley, you had your hand up, please.
Thank you. I would just like to, I understand the concerns here, but to say we are saving land because it is pretty means you don't understand the situation. We have to save nature, so we have bees and insects and other creatures to be able to pollinate our farmland. So to say we are saving it just because it's pretty is not true.
Councillor Olive, would you like to come back to that, please?
Yeah, thank you for letting me come back, Chair. I'll say very simply and very directly, if the government wants to put a law in place that says we have to have special regard to preserving Grade 1 agricultural land over and above national landscapes, sites of special scientific importance, special areas of conservation, fine. That's exactly what the process will do. We follow the rules that are set out for us in law, as we have said time and time and time again in this council, a strategic planning committee, ad infinitum. Thank you, Chair.
And the HELAR process does take into account the grading of land. It is one of the criteria. Councillor Bruce, next, please.
Thank you, Chair. I would add power to that list from Councillor Olive, because it's clear to many of us that the government is basically dancing around the head of a pin here, because if you look at the Holsworthy news this morning about this mega solar farm that's going in and consuming God knows how many acres of prime agricultural land, we will all reach a point where we have to decide whether we have food, whether we have power, or whether we have housing. It's inevitable that this is going to come down to the age-old story of 1 acre, and what do we do with it? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Bruce. Worth highlighting that something like 4.5% of our country is built on, and that you can actually still do agriculture of sorts beneath solar panels. So it's not quite as black and white as what you said. Councillor Loudon.
Thank you, Chair. Unless I've fallen asleep, I believe that the report in front of us is changes to agricultural property relief and business property relief.
Quite right, Councillor Loudon.
I propose that we note it.
I propose that we vote on it, in fact, because it is proposed and seconded. Right, if you are in favour of accepting the 2 recommendations of this report, would you please raise your hand now? If you are against them, would you please raise your hand now? And if you wish to abstain, please raise your hand now. And that is largely carried. Thank you very much, everybody. Right, moving on to agenda item 14. If I get the right place in my script, that would be even better. Right, which is recommendation from Cabinet on the Recycling and Waste LATCO funding mechanism and governance update agenda pages 224 to 237. Right, I am going to invite Councillor Jeff Young to propose this motion. Oh, yes, sorry. The monitoring officer wishes to say something before we start talking about this.
Sorry to interject,
Yes,
Chair.
sorry.
Just to remind you members that obviously you've got a Part A open report, but you've got a number of, excuse me, appendices in Part B. So if you did want to go in and ask questions about those specific appendices, we would need to move into Part B. So just to remind you of that, please.
So please keep all your questions about Part B to Part B. Councillor Young, over to you, please.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, the LATCO is a very long road and we're getting there. We have had full and informative briefings and agreed at Cabinet. Therefore, I propose the recommendations as written. Thank you.
Is anybody willing to second that recommendation? Oh, Councillor Goodman, thank you very much. Right, now, would anybody like to ask Councillor Young any questions, any clarifications, or are we all willing to vote on it? Okay, we're going to move to a vote. Oh, Councillor Goodman, would you like to say something?
I was involved with several other people across party on this work.
So bring the microphone a little bit closer, please.
Sorry.
I think people may struggle to hear
I was involved with a number of other councillors on this work for the last 18 months. And I think it's been an excellent piece of work, cross-party, and we worked together. Forget politics, this was all about what's right for our residents long term. And it was an excellent piece of work, and I just wanted to say that, Chair.
That is extremely good to hear. Thank you very much, Councillor Goodman. Absolutely, we all want the best for our residents, for sure. Right, would anybody like to ask any questions? No? Okay, so we can move on to a vote then. If you are in favour of accepting this report, would you please raise your hand now? If you are against it, would you please raise your hand now? Councillor Young, you're voting twice. And if you'd like to abstain, would you please raise your hand now? Okay, I think that was actually unanimous. Thank you very much, everybody. And well done to Councillor Young and all the other councillors involved in bringing this process to the state it is at right now. Thank you. Onwards and upwards. Right, agenda item 15, pages 238 to 261 in your agenda pack, which is the financial outturn for 24-25, and this comes from portfolio holder for Finance, Councillor Hawkins. Councillor Hawkins, would you like to propose your recommendations, please?
Yes, thank you, Chair. The reports or the recommendation sets out good position being reported for the outturn position for 24-25 with a surplus on the general fund of 712,000, which will be transferred to the MTFP risk reserve. And it's good to see the HRAs on budget with additional contributions being made to help the capital position. So I'd happily propose the recommendations.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hawkins. Is anybody willing to second these recommendations? Oh, sorry, Councillor Bloxham, are you seconding? I thought you were pointing for a second. I thought I'd missed somebody. Right, so we have the report is proposed and seconded. Would you like to ask any questions, make any comments, have any debate? Nope. Okay, you ready to vote on it? Right. If you're willing to accept the recommendations of this report, would you please raise your hand now? If you'd like to vote against them, would you please raise your hand now? And if you wish to abstain, please raise your hand now. And that is largely carried. Thank you very much, everybody. Right, agenda item 16, pages 262 to 269 in your agenda pack, which is the delivery vehicle for Malcolm. Right, I'm going to ask the portfolio holder for Place, Infrastructure and Strategic Planning, Councillor Olive, to propose this motion. But I do believe that Andy Wood might be able to answer if you have any technical questions, but I suspect that Councillor Olive can answer them all anyway, because he is a bit of an egghead. Councillor Olive, are you ready?
I'm not quite sure what I've done to deserve this
It
treatment.
means you're
this evening.
clever, Councillor Olive.
But I'll do my best to carry on after that particular bit of ignominy. Thank you.
It was meant to be a compliment, Councillor Olive.
So before members this evening is a recommendation that Council approves a budget of £350,000 from the New Communities Reserve to enable the further development of the business case for the delivery vehicle for Malcolm, our second new community. So the case for the delivery vehicle addresses one of the two sort of fairly fundamental questions that this authority is quite frequently asked when it comes to building the second new community. The first being, well, what services are you actually going to provide? What new facilities you're going to build? What infrastructure is going to be included in this community? And the second is, how are you going to make sure that that actually happens? The delivery vehicle, which we're proposing to put in place for Malcolm, is our answer to the second question. Members who've read the papers that were before Cabinet on the 1st of October will know that the phase one of the business case for the delivery vehicle is recommending that we apply to government for the institution of a development corporation, under which then would sit a master developer. The idea being that these authorities bring not only development management powers to bear, as East Devon, the planning authority, have been able to do at Cranbrook, but that those entities can go beyond the planning system in exerting both influence and direct control over how and when things in the second new community come forward. This recommendation, therefore, for a budget of £350,000 matches a contribution which we're anticipating from our partner in this endeavour, Homes England, of £305,000, which is currently going through their approval processes, and is to help us further develop the business case for that delivery vehicle with the level of detail that we need to be able to make that application to government. Hopefully that addresses this report specifically, Chair, but as you say, happy to take any further questions with my egghead hat on. Thank you. And I'll propose the recommendation as well,
Thank
Chair.
you. I was about to ask you if you could. Right, would anybody like to second the recommendation? Oh, Councillor Hookway, I saw you first. Right, so we have a recommendation that is proposed and seconded. Would anybody like to ask any questions of Councillor Olive? Oh, Councillor Arnott, please.
Yeah, no, thank you, Chair. I just wonder, councillors, is there will this lead to work with other councils, particularly the county council as it stands at the moment in terms of delivering or considering infrastructure and so forth moving ahead?
Yes, absolutely. So the, sorry, Chair.
Please
you.
do, Councillor Olive,
Chair.
please do.
My egghead enthusiasm getting the better of me there.
You eggheads can be forgiven a little bit of thwarting
So
the rules.
the answer to the leader's question, Chair, is that both the County Combined Authority and the County Council, as the other two principal authorities covering Malcolm, have already been involved intimately in the development of our plans for Malcolm, and indeed as we get into a greater level of detail, as we move towards a development corporation. In order to be able to establish a development corporation, it's a statutory requirement that we have buy-in from those other local authorities. So yes, absolutely, they are already involved intimately and will continue to be so.
Okay, it's a direct follow-up. Okay.
Yeah,
go on then.
thank you. Thank you for that confirmation, Councillor Olive. And I was very appreciative of what Councillor Goodman said a few moments ago about the cross-party working on the LATCO. But I just want to say here how desperately disappointed I was by comments from David Reid MP on Sunday Politics, only on Sunday, in which he effectively dissed both this council and the county council for having no care for infrastructure or for planning for the future. And I just thought his remarks, perhaps they were off the cuff, perhaps they'd been fed to him by a very ill-informed researcher. But what I'm able to say, and I think this council needs to understand it, is that Mr. Reid has been directly briefed by Mr. Councillor Olive and our officers about this all the way through. So it just saddens me, and I just hope he doesn't repeat this, because in this current environment, the last thing we want is people sniping at each other on something which is intended to bring this community forward in the best possible way, having, as we've said, learnt the lessons, honestly, of what happened in Cranbrook. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. I'm not sure there's any response that can be made to that. It wasn't so much a question as a comment, really, wasn't it? You did promise me a question, and then you gave me a comment.
Well, I'm sorry about that, Chair.
I'm watching you. Right. Okay. Does anybody else wish to ask Councillor Olive any more questions? Nope. Okay. You happy to move to a vote on this? Okay. If you... Oh, sorry. I am so sorry. Yes. Well, okay. Let's move into debate.
Thank you, Chair.
Oh, it's likely to be quite a hot topic. Sorry, I just realised we hadn't had the debate. It's likely to be quite a hot topic. So please, can you not speak for too long, Councillor Collins? Thank you.
Thank you. This plan horrifies me. To take all that agricultural land, there will be 1,500 acres affected, because it's not only where you're building the houses, it's virtually impossible to farm against a new estate. You're taking away all that grassland, which is highly efficient at retaining water and acts as a sponge, preventing soil erosion and flooding in
Councillor Collins, could I please
area.
remind you what the recommendation is? It's not a recommendation about the soul of the of Malcolm. It's a recommendation to approve a budget of £350,000.
Yes, well, I'm against the spending of that money because I don't feel that you need this site.
I take your point, Councillor Collins. You will have the chance to vote against
I just want to say a few more words and then I'll stop.
Can you make them relevant to the recommendation and the report, please?
The Council for Protection of Rural England say there's enough brownfield sites in England to meet all the government's housing needs.
Councillor Collins, this is still not
Thank
relevant
you.
to the report.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much. Right. Are there any more comments, questions, people wishing to speak? Wow, everybody's silenced. Right. In that case, I propose that we vote on the recommendation, which is that the council approves this budget. If you are in favour of approving this budget, would you please raise your hand now? If you are against approving the budget, would you please raise your hand now? And if you would like to abstain, would you please raise your hand now? And that is very largely carried. Thank you very much, everybody. Right, moving on to agenda item 17. We are right in the right place, aren't we? Yes. Which is back to Councillor Sam Hawkins for the financial strategy from 2026 onwards, and comes in your agenda papers at pages 270 to 293. Right, I'm going to ask Councillor Hawkins, please, to propose the motion and his report. Oh, good evening, Councillor Jackson and Councillor Hayward. You look world weary and travel weary. Would you like to sit down and swipe yourselves into a microphone somewhere, and then I'll ask you if you have any declarations of interest. You'll be very pleased to hear that you're in time to present your reports, Councillor Jackson. You'll be absolutely delighted by this news, I'm sure. Is it bad out there? Sorry, Councillor Hawkins, your thunder was stolen. But over to you.
Thank you, Chair. The financial strategy focuses on the next 2 years remaining under LGR with a budget gap of 9.17 million, resulting in the main from the fairer funding review and implication of the loss of business rates income. The strategy sets out proposals to balance the budget over the next 2 years with the use of specific reserves set aside for this purpose, use of capitalising expenditure, and then a saving target of 1 million for the next year and a stretch target of 1.5 million with an eye on a possible delay in LGR. And I'd like to propose a recommendation.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hawkins. Would anybody like to second the recommendation? Councillor Olive, saw you first. Right, so the recommendation is now proposed and seconded. Does anybody wish to ask Councillor Hawkins any questions, or maybe our Section 151 officer any questions? Response came then, none. Okay, then I perceive that we can probably move to a vote or a debate. Does anybody want to debate it? No? Okay, we're going to move straight to a vote then. Right, Councillor Hayward and Councillor Jackson, you can't actually vote on this until you have given a declaration of interest, please. Right, if you are in favour of accepting the recommendation in this report, would you please raise your hand now? And if you are against accepting the recommendation in the report, would you please raise your hand now? And if you wish to abstain, please raise your hand now. And that is largely carried. Thank you very much, everybody. And I'm going to have a short break now and ask Councillor Jackson and Councillor Hayward if they managed to get into their microphone yet, if they have any declarations of interest. Have you got your passes? Yes.
I've got mine and no declarations, thank you.
I don't have mine, and I'm present and no declarations. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It may well be 160 miles away.
Councillor Jackson twice. Thank you. Right. Okay, moving on swiftly to agenda item 18, which is a recommendation from the Constitutional Working Group. Just in time, Councillor Jackson, just in time. On councillors' gifts, I was going to propose it otherwise from the chair as chair of standards. So, but you are just in time to propose it yourself. Councillors' gifts and hospitality protocol, agenda item 18, pages 294 to 302. Councillor Jackson, would you like to propose your recommendation?
I very much would. This makes up a collection of items that have come through from the Constitution Working Group, which we have taken feedback from other members and brought back to you again. This particular item's been through standards as well, so it's had a thorough viewing from across the political spectrum, and I hope that you can support the recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Jackson. Would anybody like to second the recommendation? Councillor Goodman, thank you very much. I saw you first. Right, so would anybody like to ask Councillor Jackson any questions? Is there going to be any debate about this? It was a surprise to me that we had no policy on gifts and hospitality, I have to say. But that said, this policy has been through the Standards Committee, which members will realise also contains independent people, independent members. So it's not just councillors, so it's people from outside in the community, people who are parish councillors and people who are not parish councillors. So it has been sense checked outside this council as well. So if it hadn't already been seconded, I would have been happy to second it from the chair, but it has already been seconded. So would anybody like to ask any questions? No, I've already asked that, haven't I? Yes, it's it's not that late even. Right, we're going to move to a vote then. So if you are happy to accept this new policy, which I'm sure you've all read and inwardly digested, then would you please raise your hand now? And if you'd like to vote against it, would you please raise your hand now? And if you wish to abstain, please raise your hand now. And that is largely carried. Thank you very much, everybody. Right, you're going to be so pleased that you turned up when you did, Councillor Jackson, because now we go to agenda item 19, which is pages, I will find out in a minute, as soon as I turn the page, pages 303 to 311, and it is the Independent Remuneration Panel Terms of Reference Agenda. And that is back to Councillor Jackson to present it, please.
Thank you very much. This is an item that's come primarily directly from the Independent Remuneration Panel, but it's then also been viewed by members of the Constitution Working Group, a bit of a sanity check there. Again, I'd like to propose it. I hope that members can largely agree with it and we can move forward.
Right, is anybody willing to second this policy? Oh, I saw Councillor Haggerty first, please. Thank you. It's all everybody very keen to second. That's great. Great news. Right, would anybody like to ask Councillor Jackson any questions about this policy? Okay, are you willing to move to a vote on this? I see that you might be. Right, if you're in favour of accepting this policy, would you please raise your hand now? If you're against it, would you please raise your hand now? Councillor Hayward's voting twice. And if you wish, I'm forgiving you, you're probably very tired after horrible driving back. And if you wish to abstain, would you please raise your hand now? And that is largely carried. Thank you very much, everybody. Right, moving on to agenda item 20, which is pages 312 to 317 in your agenda pack. And it's also come from the Constitution Working Group. It is the Councillor Champion Protocol. Back to you, Councillor Jackson, just in the nick of time.
Thank you very much. This is an item that really needed a little bit more review. It's just putting a little bit more context around what we currently have with member champions. Again, it's been through the Constitution Working Group. I hope members can agree to them. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. So did you actually propose it, Councillor Jackson? Yes. Okay. Would anybody like to second it, Councillor Dumper? I saw you first. Right. Moving forward into debate, Councillor Bruce, would you like to ask something?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I brought this up at either the last full council or the one before, that I would like to see champion positions for heritage and environment included in the list. I've also asked for this request in private communications with councillors, so I would like to see if we could include these two. I gave the reasons that I did before. I don't want to repeat those again.
Thank you, Councillor Bruce.
If I need to, I'm happy to.
Sorry?
If I need to, I'm happy to repeat why we should have them in.
Okay, I'm sure Councillor Jackson will have received your communications, but now she's been made aware of them, I'm sure that she will be back to you if she can't find the communications. Councillor Loudon.
Chair, I wonder if, rather than for any proposal to add or subtract a member champion, I wonder whether it's something that could go for sense checking via the Constitution Working Group in the first instance. Otherwise, no disrespect to Councillor Bruce, we can all start to ask for or delete certain things, and I think it's probably easier to do so in a small group quietly.
I have to say, Councillor Loudon, that I'd taken Councillor Bruce's request as a request for exactly that, rather than an attempted amendment. Councillor Jackson.
My suggestion would be that actually goes to Cabinet. The policy that's in front of us suggests that on advice of Cabinet to Council for any new member champion roles, to ensure that we're not got a doubling up of any particular area already covered by portfolio holders. So that would be my suggestion, is that's taken through to Cabinet for review. So
Directly to Cabinet and not through the Constitution Working Group?
I'd take Mel's advice on that one, whether you think it would be appropriate to go to Constitution Working Group and then on to Cabinet from there.
There's no reason why it can't go to Constitutional Working Group on the way through, absolutely. So that's absolutely fine.
I mean, the more eyes, the better, surely. Councillor Bruce?
Yeah, thanks for coming back. I'm aware of the crossover potential, but I do think that these two particular areas are underrepresented at the moment, given the breadth of environmental accolades that we have in the area and the amount of heritage property that we have within East Devon. I think they need to be recognised in some form, and that's the debate I produced at the last request.
Yeah, okay, so my recommendation to you is that you pursue this with Councillor Jackson, because I suspect there may be a resourcing implication as well, which may need to be examined. Yes, Councillor Loudon, I don't think that Councillor Bruce was trying to amend today's document. So yeah, I'm happy to. Yeah. Okay. So, Councillor Fitzgerald wanted to ask a question.
Thank you. I also had a question around whether we should be keeping all of the existing councillor champion roles and whether those have been sense tested as part of this process, which could possibly form part of the further work. And related to that, I wasn't really aware of when would be the right time to bring it before the working group. So I think it's quite important that it comes through Cabinet and is properly agendarised so that other members know when is the right time to come forward with those proposals. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Fitzgerald. I do believe that any member can get informally involved in the Constitutional Working Group. Am I right to say that?
I mean, our meeting requests go out to just the members within the group, I think. But I'll take some advice from Mel about whether anyone else can attend.
I would suggest that it's done via the representative on the group from that, from your own political group, that it's done via that representative.
Okay, so yeah, the channel in that case then would be to speak to the person in your political group who sits on the Constitutional Working Group, and there may be several. So please approach them with your ideas if you have any ideas of things that should go through the Constitutional Working Group in your eyes. Thank you. Councillor Jackson?
I mean, I'm happy for those queries to come through into the Constitutional Working Group for review. I think it's worth acknowledging at this point that the member champion roles that are there were set up at a time where the composition of the roles within Cabinet was slightly different. So it maybe now's the right time to just have a bit of a look at that in its totality.
Thank you, Councillor Jackson. Okay, all right. Does anybody else wish to ask any more questions of Councillor Jackson? Or are we happy to move to a vote on this? I think we're happy to move to a vote on it. Right. If you would like to accept, I've actually lost track now. Where are we? Agenda item 20, aren't we? Yes. Okay. If you would like to accept the recommendation, this it's not a recommendation, is it? It's a motion. No, it's not even a motion, is it? It's a report. It is a recommendation. Okay, yeah. Right. If you are happy to accept the two recommendations in this report, would you please raise your hand? Oh, Councillor Jenny Brown has a question.
Sorry.
I think.
Yeah, so if we're querying the current councillor champions or wishing to add more to it, can we actually approve what we've done here? Would we not have to take this back to the Constitution Working Group?
So the report we have in front of us today, I'm hoping that we're about to vote on. If you have any amendments that you wish to bring to the composition of the member champion group, then I think it has to go through the Constitutional Working Group at this stage, through the person on in your political grouping who sits on that group. It's you. Okay. Sorry, I didn't realise. So if you could feed that back through the Constitutional Working Group and to Councillor Jackson, that would be fantastic. Councillor Jackson?
Yeah, this sets out the protocol, the framework around member champions rather than the actual member champions that we have.
Okay. Just at the brink of voting, we were slightly interrupted, but let us pursue the vote. Right. If you are in favour of accepting the two recommendations in this report, would you please raise your hand now? If you are against them, would you please raise your hand now? And if you'd like to abstain, raise your hand now. And I believe that is unanimous. Thank you very much, everybody. Right, moving on to agenda item 21, which is yet another offering from the Constitutional Working Group regarding councillor officer relations, and it's agenda pages 318 to 342. Councillor Jackson, you're back on, please.
Thanks. Again, this is another piece of work that we've gone through on numerous occasions, and my sincere thanks to all members of the Constitution Working Group and others that have looked at these documents, because a lot of time and attention has been given to them. But this essentially sets out key expectations between how members and officers relate to each other, exchange with each other. So I hope again that it's fairly non-contentious and that we can move forward with them. I'm happy to propose.
That's a proposal. Thank you very much, Councillor Jackson. Who wishes to second? Councillor Bruce, I saw you first. Right, okay, so we have recommendations that are proposed and seconded. Would anybody like to ask any questions of the portfolio holder or speak about any of them? Oh, Councillor Johns.
Hi, it might just be me reading it wrong, but the recommendation, the second recommendation, talks about to make any minor drafting changes to the Councillor Champion protocol prior to the publication on the Council's website. Am I reading
Well
that
spotted, eagle-eyed, thank you.
Thank you.
So that is a typo and that will be amended right now, I suspect. It's one of the perils of drafting many similar documents, I suspect. Right, okay, so that will be amended. Thank you very much for spotting that. Right, where have we got to? We got to the vote, hadn't we? Yes, indeed. Okay, so if you are, with that slight amendment, thank you very much, Councillor Johns, happy to vote for this new protocol, would you please raise your hand now? And if you wish to vote against it, would you please raise your hand now? And if you'd like to abstain, please raise your hand now. And I think that is unanimous. Thank you very much, everybody. So that will be changed before it goes live, so to speak. Yes. Right, okay, moving on to agenda item 22, which is the wreath laying policy. Agenda pages 343 to 351. Now, I'm going to hand over to Councillor Johns on this one. The protocol should speak for itself. We became aware that last year that there wasn't actually a unified protocol across East Devon for the laying of wreaths on behalf of East Devon. So I think Councillor Johns is going to explain more about this. Councillor Johns, over to you.
Thank you. Basically, what we discovered is that since I joined the district council, some district councillors have been purchasing their own wreaths to lay on behalf of the district council. Some have been getting them through the district council, and some people aren't laying them at all. So we decided to do a wreath laying protocol. And basically, what you've got in front of you is exactly what it says on the tin. If you want to get a wreath to lay on behalf of East Devon District Council, go through the protocol and see how it works, and then get in touch with Andrew Malewich and say, please, can you order me a wreath? And he will do it for you. And that's basically it. If anybody's got any questions, feel free to ask.
So if anybody wishes to, this is my plea to you, if you have been invited to lay a wreath on behalf of East Devon District Council at your cenotaph or memorial, then you only have a very short time in which to make a request to Andrew for the purchase of that wreath. So what you're being asked to vote on today is not just the protocol. I think, are we being asked to vote on the budget, or is that within? No, we're not. Okay, so the budget, the total budget, if every single one of us were invited to a memorial, would be £750, because each of the wreaths from the Royal British Legion cost £25. Obviously, they don't cost £25. That also includes a donation to the RBL. So if any of you are invited to lay in your capacity as a district councillor a wreath on a memorial, even this year, then please rush your order to Andrew if you have not already done so. And I believe quite a few of you already have done so. Ordinarily, the chair lays a wreath traditionally in Exmouth. I'm actually going to be absent this year, so my vice chair is going to be laying the wreath in Exmouth. Now, Exmouth councillors, you're very welcome, given the layout of the centre of Exmouth, to go up with Charlotte to help lay the wreath, to be laid on behalf of East Devon Council. Please do, if you feel that's something you'd like to do, please do it. Right, okay, we have, did you propose? Vicky, could you?
No, but I am. Propose it.
Okay, Councillor Johns has proposed. Would anybody like to second? Councillor Gazzard. There we go. I'll take Councillor Gazzard, even though I saw Councillor Loudon first. Sorry, Councillor Loudon. Because Councillor Gazzard is wearing a very nice purple jumper today. There's no purple. There's no purple, Councillor Loudon. It's all the poorer for it. Indigo. Right, would anybody like to ask any questions about this protocol? No, thank you to everybody who was involved in it, but specifically to Councillor Johns and also to Andrew, who carried forward the work. And I'm very glad that we actually have one now. So please rush your orders to Andrew if you get invited to lay one on behalf of East Devon. It will come, you'll have to fill in a little card and put a little message in the middle, okay? So If you would like to vote in favour of this policy, would you please raise your hand now? If you'd like to vote against it, would you please raise your hand now? And if you'd like to abstain, please raise your hand now. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much, everybody. Right, agenda item 23, pages 352 to 356, which is the appointment of a tenant representative to serve on the Housing Review Board. Right, we have a report. Unfortunately, we don't have a portfolio holder because he is unfortunately absent due to the sickness of his baby. We wish the Ledger family well, obviously. Now, I propose just proposing this one from the chair because it is this is a person who has been interviewed by the Housing Review Board, and they have drawn up the report, but it has to come to full council for approval. So Andrew Melhuish can answer any questions about the process or about the composition of the Housing Review Board, I suspect. I've moved it from the chair, so it doesn't need a seconder, but would anybody like to ask any questions? Councillor Goodman, please.
Just a comment on page 354, where it talks about the risk assessment, an appointment of an independent representative makes it a score of 2. The way you do risk is you multiply each likelihood and impact together. So 1 times 1 is 1. That's factually correct. It is.
It's possibly that somebody put the wrong sign into an Excel spreadsheet then.
That's exactly right.
Put a plus rather than a star. So that will also be changed. Thank you very much for your eagle eye there, Councillor Goodman. Councillor Chapman, please.
Thank you, Chair. Just for some clarity. One representative for tenants. Now, I've worked with Councillor Hall on cases before, and in Exmouth, and I'm sure all over the district, that our tenants come in various groups. So we have the family group with the young families, we have the elderly groups, and we have the disabled groups. I am just a bit worried how one person can give the information from each different group and what they specifically need or require to the Housing Review Board.
Councillor Chapman, I do believe there are several tenant representatives on this. Was to replace one vacancy. This is 4. Okay. There are 4 tenant representatives, and there was 1 vacancy.
Do they cover all the different areas? Because they don't specifically say.
Oh, Catherine can speak to this, please.
I was. Yeah, just to say that there are multiple tenants that sit on various different groups. There's lots and lots of different people sitting on across lots of different groups. This is to enable us to have, as we just said, the 4th tenant representative just onto HRB. The information from all of the other representative groups gets fed through and then is heard at HRB then as a result of the collation of all of the information across all the wider groups that meet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine. Right, are there any more questions? In the absence of Councillor Ledger, I think Catherine is going to be fielding quite a lot of questions if there are any. Right, I can't see any more hands up, so I'm going to presume that nobody has any burning questions for Catherine or anybody else who may know about them. So we're going to move to a vote on this. Now, where are we? The vote is strictly on appointing this person. Yes, Richard Sidney Ford. So if you would like to approve the appointment of Richard Sidney Ford to the Housing Review Board, would you please raise your hand now? If you'd like to vote against, would you please raise your hand now? And if you'd like to abstain, would you please raise your hand now? And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Right, okay. Moving on swiftly, or not so swiftly. We're getting there, we're not doing badly. Right, we have agenda item 20. Councillor Hall, please.
Could we have a quick comfort break?
We shall have a comfort, unless you really desperately need to go now, we've got one more very short item, and then I was proposing having a comfort break between parts A and B. Okay, right, so we've got agenda item 24, which is to consider the inclusion of the Woodbury Exmouth Budley Salterton Health and Wellbeing Alliance to the list of outside bodies and the nomination of a councillor on the outside body. Right. Andrew Melhuish is presenting the report. I don't have any page numbers for this.
No, Chair, there's no report. It's just an item that's set out in the agenda to, as you rightly say, to appoint, first of all, to determine whether you wish to add the outside body to the list of outside bodies, which is a function of this council to do so, and then if you are willing to accept it as an outside body, to then invite a nomination for a representative to serve. As I say, that the details of that are set out on the agenda front page.
Thank you, Andrew. So because Andrew presented the report, he can't present the recommendation. So do I have a proposer and a seconder from the room? Councillor Hookway, you're proposing?
Yes, Chair, I'm proposing, and I would like to nominate a councillor. I'd like to nominate Councillor Charlotte Fitzgerald, who has regularly attended these meetings in terms of a board as a Budley board member. The web board met yesterday. It is a very well attended board. The level of communication across both the voluntary and the statutory sectors is excellent, and it is a highly valued outside body, and we definitely should be part and parcel of it and be represented. So I'm happy to propose, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hookway. Is anybody willing to second the recommendation? Or Councillor Dumper, is that asking to speak or is that a seconding?
Yes, as a former member of this body, I would thoroughly endorse what Councillor Hookway has just said and the nomination of Councillor Charlotte Fitzgerald, who has been on it and its predecessor. It started to fall apart a while ago because the then chair resigned, and it's brilliant to see it being revived. So I fully support.
Thank you, Councillor Dumper. So I believe that this board went into abeyance a few months ago and is now being resurrected. Is that right? Yes. Okay. Okie dokie. So we have a proposer and a seconder from the floor. Would anybody like to ask any questions? Are there any other nominations from the room? We didn't receive any more nominations in advance, but okay. I take it that there is only one nomination, that is Councillor Fitzgerald then, in which case we do not, well, would you like a vote to comfort the choice? Yes, so the actual motion that we're going to vote on is to consider the inclusion of it on the list of outside bodies, and I believe it did used to be on the outside bodies, didn't it? So, yes.
Yes, you need to vote to include it on the list of outside bodies and then to appoint Councillor Fitzgerald.
So we've got two separate things to vote on. So the first thing to vote on is that we add it to our list of outside bodies, and so that there is a councillor present on this board de facto. So with that in mind, if you are willing to accept the recommendation that we add it to our list of outside bodies, would you please raise your hand now? And if you want to vote against that, would you please raise your hand now? And if you want to abstain, raise your hand now, and that was unanimous. Right, so we have one candidate, which I think out of a sense of duty and formality, I think we should vote on. In the absence of any more last-minute candidates from the floor, then we're going to vote on the inclusion, for us to send Councillor Charlotte Fitzgerald to the board, as she has already been attending many of the meetings, both before and, well, in its previous incarnation as well. So if you are in favour of Councillor Fitzgerald being our nominee to go to these boards, would you please raise your hand now? If you're against that, would you please raise your hand now? And if you want to abstain, please raise your hand now. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much, everybody. And not wishing to put Charlotte in the spotlight, but Charlotte, you are on now. You have a thing to do. She has a thing to do. Ah, have you got your thing? Have you got your thing? Absolutely.
Yes. I now invite.
Stop there.
I would like to pass a resolution that the press and public are excluded from the meeting under Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972 on the basis that if they were present during the business to be transacted, there would be a likelihood of disclosure of exempt information within the meaning of Schedule 12A to the Local Government Act 1972, as the information relates to the finance or business affairs of any particular person. So I'm going to move that resolution from,
No, from the Vice Chair.
from the
Yeah, you
Vice
need
Chair,
to seek a
and I need to
seconder.
seek a seconder. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Loudon. Can we have a show of hands? And anyone against? Any abstentions? And that is carried. Thank you.
So the meeting will now move into part B, and Andrew will tell us when the live feed has gone. But right now, I'm also going to call a 5-minute comfort break for everybody, and I presume that the drivers would probably like that very much. So I'll see you back in 5 minutes precisely, please.